Well, hi again, and just looking forward to being together with my friends. I may not have met all of you, but you're my friends. And we do have a weekly date, don't we? And this is Ruth Polston from The Life That Wins, and it's just a delight to be able to share with you tonight. And what I have in mind is to say, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible with God. Well, I'm thinking about starting with a little couple used to see, and it was Charlie Brown and Lucy. And they were laying on their backs, and they were looking up at the heavens and everything. And so Lucy came up with a good idea. She says, when I look up at the clouds and everything, you know what I see? And I want to know what you see too. So he said, okay. So she says, when I look up there, oh, I see clouds, and I see white horses, and I see carriages. And she went on and was very dramatic. Okay, I told you now, Charlie Brown, you tell me. And Charlie Brown said, well, I was going to tell you that I saw a ducky and a horsey, but I changed my mind. So sometimes we don't all see things the same. We see things differently. And we don't want anybody to know that we're looking at life with a ducky and a horsey viewpoint. But that's what I started to play for you tonight. Nothing is impossible with God. And a long time ago, my husband and I made a decision about which party we would belong to. No, not the Democrats and the Republicans. Would we belong to the big God party or the little God party? And for us, it was done and sealed and over and decided. We would belong to the big God party. So I hope before this is over tonight, you kind of feel like you would too, if you're not there already. Maybe you already are. I sure hope so. So here we go. Israel was coming out of slavery, and as you know, they were in Egypt for a long time, and God wanted them as a nation. So he used Moses, and Moses was doing his best again, and he was doing a good job in getting them out there. And they got as far as a place called Kadesh Barnea. Well, that doesn't mean much to you, but anyway, when they got there, it wasn't very far, but what they could see the land. And so he said, all right, we're going to stop here, and we're going to select one person from each tribe. And he said, I want you to go over there and spy out the land. We don't know anything about this land that God's called it to. And that's the way it is with God. Sometimes we don't know what He's got in mind for us. So they said, that's a good idea. Good idea, Moses. So they got 10 and 2. Actually 12. But they're going to come back with a different viewpoint. So they go over into the land. When it was over and time for them to come back, the 12 came back, and they were carrying great big clusters of grapes. I mean, not your kind of grocery store grapes. No, these were huge. And they were bringing back the spoils of the country where they'd been and said, wow, look at this. And the people were saying, rah, 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 rah. Great, great, when do we go? And so the tin began to speak. And they said, we're not able to go up there. And the people all got alarmed and fearful. Why not? Well, they said, the people they look like giants. I think they're giants over there. In fact, we look so little compared to them that we look like grasshoppers. Now, wait a minute. How did they know that? Did they get up there and say, do we look like grasshoppers? I don't think so. But that was their imagination. And it was brought about by fear. Fear will keep you from the adventuresome walk with Jesus Christ. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy. But that was the way God proved himself, how glorious. And he had done everything for those people. Okay, so here stands Joshua, Caleb, and they said, no, oh, we're well able to go up. And their idea was, why, they're bread for us. We could eat them. Well, anyway, it was a picture. But you know, these other people just began to wail and cry and carry on. And pretty soon, you see, it's contagious. Whatever you have is contagious. But it's too bad when it's 10 to 2. All right, so the contagious crowd, they just wept so much that pretty soon it caught in with the whole people that were listening and waiting for a good report. And instead they said, oh, no, not us, we're not going. We're not going. And Caleb and Joshua said, what in the world are we going to do? Well, that decision cost them 40 years in the wilderness. And you know what? Not a single one of those people that said, we're not able, they did not go into the promised land. They all died out there in the desert. But not Caleb and Joshua. And you know, it's interesting that the Bible said that that crowd wandered. They just wandered. They just went around in circles and circles. Same circles, day after day, same diet, same everything. But the Bible said about Joshua and Caleb, they followed. And you know, we can be in the same circumstances. It isn't the circumstances that define us. It's our reaction to it. And they kept that spirit in them. Someday we're going in. They're in the army now. They're going in. And every day they kept that paramount. They served the big God party. So the Bible said they followed, same circumstance, but the others wandered. And the Bible said they had another spirit. Now, where do you suppose they got that spirit? God gave them that spirit, and that was the spirit that would take them into the promised land. And sure enough, they were the only ones, except the children. And you know, they even prophesied about their children, the younger ones. That other crowd said, oh, our children are going to die out here. Their children are going to die. God said, no, the children are going in. And sure enough, it was the children that went in, Joshua and Caleb. So I guess I kind of want to just stir our minds today. It isn't the circumstances you're in that will cause you to feel like you're in a prison. But it's however you see God. And however your concept is of God, that's the way you walk it out. And it'll be contagious. Now, it was contagious just by the volume of it. But with the other two, they weren't about to bow to the little God party. And they went victoriously into the promised land. Oh, God has so many promises for us. He has so much that he would like to. He is such an abundant Christ. And he didn't say, I'm going to take you out of circumstances. No, he didn't say that. He said, I'll be with you in it. And how else is he going to prove himself, how great he is, unless we have something to overcome? You can't overcome unless you got something to overcome. Well, anyway, nothing is impossible with God. Polston, coming to you from the Life That Wins, and I hope you have a wonderful week as you serve in the big God party. God bless.